SMX Facts time. We mean that literally now. Clinton Fowler, our stat man, is going to talk SMX playoff projections, who might be in, who might be out. Let's talk 450s first. Clinton, what's some of the notable info there?
Yeah, I think the first thing we got to look at is those that have won a race and have an automatic bid into the LCQs. Now, it's only the LCQ, so not exactly a lot to motivate these guys, but Jet Lawrence, Cooper Webb, Chase Sexton, Eli Tomac, Ken Roxon, Aaron Plessinger, those guys in the 450s, they've got the automatic bid because they've won a race this year. So that's the first piece. But then the big thing is the top 20 cutoff line. And right now, that sits at 121 points. But I think we're going to see a fair amount of competition come up and see that number rise to more like 150, maybe even 160, depending on what people end up doing at the end of the year. And JT, there's a crop of guys that I think are on path. You've got the Freddie Noren and the Christian Craig, who look like in the next 2 or 3 rounds, they're going to be in. But then there's another set of 3 guys that I think are really interesting. Grant Harlan, Phil Nicoletti, Marshall Welton. Those 3, they've got to continue performing at the same level and make it through the year. What do you think for pressure that those guys are feeling right now?
Well, I think they just understand the task at hand, right? All 3 of those riders either didn't participate in the class that they're hoping to get into the SuperMotocross playoffs in, 450 class, during Supercross, or they had poor Supercross series in the case of Grant Harlan. So I think that they are kind of coming into form right now. We saw all 3 of them either back in action or really breaking out in the case of Grant Harlan again at high point. So I think there's nothing but to look at this as a positive, right? You've had a really tough year. Now you're starting to find your form and everything is in front of you. If you can perform now, you're going to be set up nicely for September.
Okay, let's switch 250 class and kind of talk those same topics. There's a lot more movement, a lot more unpredictability, it feels like, when you look at 250s.
There are 12 250 riders that qualify for an automatic LCQ bid, from RJ Hampshire to Ty Masterpool here at the last race at Mount Moore. So those guys are automatically in the LCQ. The cut line for the 250s is 160 points. Guys like RJ Hampshire automatically in, but I also think with his 195 points from his championship gets him automatically into the top 20. So a fair amount of guys in good position there.
Yeah, the pressure is on, and no one wants to go to those LCQs at those SuperMotocross playoff rounds. It's just not a very fun place to be. And also, when you think about those riders, those 11 riders who have automatically gotten that LCQ bid, it's such a daunting task to get through the LCQ, and then you have this really difficult starting position for the main events. That's what they always talk about is, yes, I think I'm good enough to qualify it every time through the LCQ, but the gate position for when the points and the money are paid out put me in such a difficult place. So I think for everybody, getting into the top 20 is the name of the game. You do not want to be sitting on that starting line for the LCQs.
Yes, and that's going to move us into some other riders. When will RJ Hampshire be back? Cameron McAdoo, Seth Hamaker, other riders you would consider SMX World Championship contenders. How quickly can they get back and improve their seeding? Hey, Clinton, last year, Deegan only won by 5 points. He beat Shimoda by 5 points. So this seeding is going to be maybe everything come September.
Yeah, I mean, a guy like RJ Hampshire, it's looking like he's probably going to be 18th or 19th in the standings. That could be a 20, 21 point difference in the seeding points. That's massive come that last round, especially knowing what we learned last year.
All right, so we're going to be keeping an eye both on Pro Motocross and the SMX combined standings as we get ready for the playoffs in September. A little fun extra math for you, so thanks for the effort. How you folks can see it, we'll have race day live coverage presented by motorsport.com at 10 a.m. Eastern this Saturday. That's qualifying, a 1-hour show, and the motos start at 1 o'clock Eastern. We'll have 4 straight hours of live moto coverage and a halftime show in between and a post-race show. So dial us in. It will be Peacock or the SMX Video Pass outside the United States.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.